Yo, Twitch, what's up? What is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? How's it going, everybody? What's up? Hey, Commander Keen with 49 months. Swiggins dropped a Prime sub earlier off stream. Thank you, Swiggins. Hey, Salt Gobbler, what's up? Hey, Olympus and Ketchup and Mr. F and Yee and what's everybody? What's up, everybody? How's it going? I like the top comment under your new video. Let's see what it says. What is it? I can't say I know what it is. It says, I love seeing Duels get some attention. It's from Kevin O'Leary, top of Shark Tank fame. Is that really the top comment with only 33 likes? That's pretty rare. Yeah, we're gonna play some Duels tonight. Speaking of Duels, stream lag for anyone? Looks okay for me. Hey, Wing Burrito, what's up, dude? How's it going? I was just checking my stream VOD over there. We had some crazy news in the world of Hearthstone today, everybody. The esports program has been drastically cut back. Way less esports support in 2023 than 2022. We're gonna talk about it later in the stream, though. I want to spend like 15 20 minutes talking through. We'll read the blog post about it and we'll talk about it later. I'm gonna pull up chat. We'll have a little chat. I'm gonna turn it into a video later, but first we're gonna play some Duels. So of course, please feel free to rant about Hearthstone esports in the comments. For now, I'll catch up with you guys later in the stream and we'll talk about it more. I'm not super well equipped to talk about the esports world because I just have never really been that involved in the esports world, but I have some like outsider perspective that I think will still be valuable. Basically, some hard truths I think about Hearthstone esports, but also some sad realities, you know, like hard truths. It's sad regardless, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Hey, Samniak, thanks for 32 months. I miss the old days when they favored streamers in esports. I'll probably talk on that a little bit, actually. Yeah. That's probably going to be a part of what my discussion is about. Not specifically streamers necessarily, but personalities and sort of the vibe of esports took a turn towards professionalism that I think drove a lot of the audience away, frankly. We'll see. Little less talky, a lot more duels. That's going to make me want to talk a lot more. The childlike framing of that in particular, fight car. I know you're a good dude. I'm not trying to give you too hard of a time, but boy, that was so anyway, we are gonna play some Duels. We got some changes in Duels today, actually. Tome Tampering got banned and Shock Spitter got banned. So we're gonna have a different meta probably, which is nice. We've kind of been stuck with a lot of the same top decks and Duels, particularly late in the run. The one thing that didn't get hit though was Frost Death Knight. A lot of their stuff is still going to be good. So a little bit nervous about Frost Death Knight. We got to decide what we want to play. We've been playing a lot of well, we've had a few good Duels runs recently, actually. The one thing we haven't done much, which we talked about as soon as we got Harvest Time, was an aggro swarmy druid, like fast undead death rattle. So Omu, Harvest Time, probably Warden's Insight's the best fit here because this is good for wide boards. We've been talking about this for a while. So basically stick to, I guess, probably primarily Lich King because we really want like Lingering Zombies. We really want Nerubian Flyers. I think we want Withers. Might be good. Nadox might be good. Undeading Swarm seems like the kind of thing we want. We want a lot of good early undead swarm, death rattle swarm stuff. Hyper aggression, and then we're gonna want some wide board follow-ups as well. So we're gonna need things like Arbor Up. We'll have to figure out which expansion is best best for Arbor Up, but all these little death rattles to activate our hero power are good. We'll take a look at what else is out there. But any other good death rattle undead expansions? The Volatile Skeleton's okay, but maybe not the best. Eggs are really good, so we could talk about maybe like Naxxramas. Holy moly, Fikar! Yeah, I know, man. I feel bad now. You gave me $10. Like I said, I know you're a good dude. I didn't mean to give you too hard of a time, but sometimes people do that and it makes me want to go the other way, you know, like that instinct to rebel. Somebody tells you to do something, you want to do the opposite kind of thing, right? I like it better if people say like, I'm excited for Duels, as opposed to like play some Duels, you know. So thank you for the kind donation though, man. Sorry I gave you a hard time. I didn't mean to make you feel pressured. Oh guys, I gotta show you something. I'm sorry this is gonna distract from Duels again, but I'm too excited for this to keep it in. I don't even know if I'm supposed to share this, but I don't care. We will anyway. So you guys know I teased not too long ago that I played through Dark Souls finally, and I'm working on a video about my first time Dark Souls playthrough experience, and I commissioned an artist to make some artwork for me. This is the black and white version, as you can tell. It's not colored yet, but I'm so, if anybody who's played Dark Souls will kind of recognize this character as the Dark Souls Knight guy, just like the generic Dark Souls guy. But oh, I commissioned this art and it's so good. This is from Adam Scythe on Instagram. I don't know if he wants me sharing his unfinished work. I probably shouldn't, but it's so good. I don't think he'll care. It's so cool. It's the Dark Souls guy playing Dark Souls. Yeah, he's sitting on a beanbag. Yeah, I think that'll be more evident when it's colored. Don't worry. Oh, this is gonna be the YouTube thumbnail anyway. I'm spending way too much money on this video that won't get any views, but it's okay. Yeah, it's for a new video. Yeah, is that for a stream you did last year? A different one? Neither. I didn't stream it. I played off stream. Dave Rumbrill thanks for the 15 months, and Yen Zinho thanks for the 12 months. It's I've kind of decided for non Hearthstone, Marvel Snap games and stuff, games like that, it's just really hard to commit that much time to streaming. I need to be able to play for 30 minutes here and an hour here, and I can't sit down for 3 or 4 hours all the time to do that. So I've started doing them off stream, but I'm gonna make videos. We'll go on the main channel. I don't know yet. It depends on how it does on the side channel. If it does bad on the side channel, yes, it'll go on the main channel eventually. Maybe like a few days later. Anyway, we gotta concentrate. I'm so sorry. I'm taking forever. Do we want Naxxramas? Because we really like the egg, but what is the druid card in Naxxramas? We'll get offered poison seeds a lot. We won't get offered Nerubian egg like we want. You just get offered the druid versions over and over again. Other eggs. Why is this? Why does this show up an egg? Amalgam, there's no egg in there. It's weird, right? Isn't that weird? 1 year, by the way, Enzino, that's nuts. Brad Spacely with 27 months. Dude, Brad, what's up? I feel like I haven't seen you in a while, Brad. Am I crazy? Is that right? Well, Doom does have good death rattles. Unguro has a couple things here we kind of don't hate. I think, though, at this stage, maybe we need to do more about follow-up. Oh, is there a core Nerubian egg? Oh, that may be better. Yeah, you're right. Oh, okay. Hold up. Ooh. Yeah, core might be good because we have we probably have other cards in core we're excited about. Soul of the Forest is decent. Power of the Wild is decent. Man, there aren't that many good follow-up cards in core. Power of the Wild. I mean, they're all good-ish cards, right? Maybe we just need the one is fine. But I need like an Arbor Up. I think we need Arbor Up type card to reward our wide boards. Currently, we just don't have any of that. Is there another good, like, let's see, give is a word, might get us in the right direction. Savage Roar, oh, we can run Savage Roar, it's in Legacy. Branching Paths, oh, Pride's Fury. Is Barons good for us? Barons could be a good expansion, let's see. Anything good in Barons? Pride's Fury. Thorngrove Sentries is solid. Are we gonna get offered a bunch of nature stuff I don't want? Or alternatively, do we want the nature stuff? Is perhaps the nature stuff good? Getting 2/2s for our nature cards is probably not terrible. A lot of these aren't that great though. A few good ones and a few pretty bad ones. Kind of thinking maybe Dark Moon's better. There are like the solar eclipses and lunar eclipses of the world are still pretty useful for treasures and so on. A lot of these cards are generally solid. Don't hate getting a gray bow, you know, that'd be awesome. So this looks better to me. Dark Moon, core, and yeah, Dark Moon, core, and Lich King. That's a good set. Let's try that. God, guys, Hype Train, Howling Cricks with a 5 months. Not Pit with the 10 months. You did disappear for a while, Brad's basically. Okay, I wasn't imagining things. Well, good to see you. Welcome back, man. That's awesome. I love seeing OG names in chat. Sometimes it feels like, you know, a lot of the OG old timers aren't around as much anymore. So it's always good to have some old familiar names. I'll readily say it's a lot harder to build attachments to new like viewers and new names in chat. Like as I've gotten further along in streaming, like the first year or whatever, right? I feel like I remembered everybody. Number one, because there were fewer people. It was a smaller stream. But also it's just like, you know, it's all new. And then you just get new names stacked on top and on top and on top. And it's harder and harder for each kind of wave of names to be as memorable because they're competing with the old ones, you know. It's hard to remember each identity. There are obviously still standout people who I know well, of course, who are new, who talk a lot or cheer a lot or whatever it is, right? But it does get harder over time. Anyway, let's give this a shot. This is Death Rattle Undead Druid. We probably want like Mummy Magic and lots of good Death Rattle cards. Hey, Gravas, man, thanks for the 9 months. You'll never stack up with the old crowd. Are you not part of the old crowd? I thought you might be. Okay, this is good. Hero Power 2 is probably better than a Bone Flinger, but we like the Bone Flinger in general. We're gonna try to swarm people. I need to get Hearthstone Jack Tracker running. Not actually played any sort of constructed Hearthstone in a while. Played Battlegrounds last time I streamed on Tuesday. And boy, did that video die. Man, I was depressed. That did really bad. Nobody wants to watch me play Battlegrounds. It turns out. I thought at least a few people might, but no one does. one in a million does. That's okay. I don't play it much, so I get it. I watched it. Well, you're one of 3. Congratulations. Quite a rare group. McGrew with 20 months. Man, that's another old name, I feel like. Am I crazy, McGrew? Good to see you, McGrew. No, Sam, I don't think I said thank you for the bits. Oh my god, I just realized. I remember reading it, but I was talking about that other artwork. I think you even reminded me to talk about the other artwork, maybe, or maybe the other way around. But No, not currently. No. Last time I asked, Noah was not looking for extra work necessarily. I mean, in a way, this is better. Kinda. Not exactly, but kinda. So no, not working through the backlog. I think he was happy to do new expansions and stuff because they're exciting, and that was a sort of fixed, limited amount of work. But last time I asked, I mean, I haven't asked, I guess, recently, but that's how I remember it going last time. So no extra artwork. Thanks, McGrew, dude. Appreciate it. Boy, this is pretty bad. We'll turn a 1-1 into 2/2/2s though. That's fine. Righteous Protector's getting annoying. No good play though. Man. The deck list is not correct, HS Replay. Good try though. Good effort made, but that is very wrong. Ouch. A lot of annoying stuff again. Oh, Words Insight's nice. Okay. So this is gonna make 4 dues, which that's fine. I mean, do we really think the opponent is gonna have an AoE here? I think they're gonna be 2 minion based. They're not gonna have an AoE, so I'm gonna go face and just set up for the Arbor up, basically. Nadox is obviously worse than Arbor up, but yeah, they're trading. That's good news. Okay. Just put them on the back foot here. Hope that's enough. Yeah, this should be fine. Could get taunt, I guess. Oh, lifesteal's a little annoying, but surely not enough. Is it 17? We're gonna have oh, we're only gonna have 16. Is this real? 16? Kidding me? Is this worth any more? No, it's +2. Doesn't work there. All right. Well, I think we still go face, right? They may heal for more than 3 technically, but I think I'm okay to take that risk. We're just gonna use Swarm if they clear the board somehow, and if not, I'm sure we'll have some combination of damage that gets us there. Even if this thing gets buffed a little bit, it just can't be big enough, right? Hey, Huggernaut, dude, thanks for the 37 months, man. That's really nice. Got Dockhawk and Snapgrass. He's very fun, particularly the featured location right now. Yeah, cannibalism is insane for us. Just absolutely bonkers, crazy strong. Yeah, really, really good. Zombies good. Plating and Underking not so good. These are too big, too expensive. Boy, this whole bucket's, these are all pretty bad. I mean, I like Invincible pretty well. It's a great follow-up. Corporal is, I mean, it could be okay, I guess. I don't know. Just hit for 5 sometimes is all right. Behemoth's the one I hate. Zombie's my favorite card of this entire trio of buckets, but am I willing to tank a plating? I like Underking less than Invincible, but not by a ton less. It's a little cheaper. Plating is, I think, more or less valueless. Boy, I don't know, but I like Zombie a lot. Our turn 1 Zombie into turn 2 hero power is insane. I think we take more zombies. It's close though. Invincible's pretty cool. Huggernaut, dude, thanks for the 37 months. Dead Pup with the, what is that? 10 bits. Thank you. Been my go-to streamer as of late. Ah, thanks, man. I don't stream enough though. I feel like I'm more and more these days just a YouTuber who happens to stream sometimes, as opposed to I used to be a bit of a streamer. More so. I feel like I'm
looking for a fight? You found one. Witness the ways of my forest.
Feel bad calling myself that. All right, they're saying too slow. We want early minions for sure. 1-drops are incredible for us. More 1-drops we have, the happier we are. A Foul Egg is probably our best card to get, right? The ruby and egg's not bad, but without coin or crystal gem, a little worse. Plants versus Zombies, dude. I loved Plants versus Zombies. Yeah, felt like such a big game in its era. You know, it's a game you don't really think about much or talk about much, but I remember it being, you know, pretty. I remember it being pretty significant at the time, like part of the cultural touchstone or something. You know. Yeah, this is technically a little more efficient than Hero Power. Well, I don't know about efficient, but more tempo-y. 2-3 is a little better. And you keep a body on the zombie. Next turn's Hero Power Astalor for sure. Hopefully get a good turn 5 play. Might want to think about positioning here a little bit for cannibalism, but I'm going to be too lazy to track that all run. I'll tell you that right now. Just not going to be. Not going to be into it. Back when mobile had real games. I guess I didn't play Plants vs. Zombies on mobile, to be honest. I associate like Angry Birds, that era of mobile more, I guess. I think I played it on Xbox. Honestly, I don't know that I remember, though, now that I say that. I'm not sure where I played it. I think Xbox, though. Heart Strike, okay. It's fine. Still a great hero power target here. Let's get Astalor going. Get a buff on the Astalor. This is cool. We can even use our hero power as like a direwolf alpha sometimes. You know what I mean? Like it's an instant buff, not just extra tutus. That's pretty crazy to think about. It's +2 damage now, hero power. That's cool. I remember playing a lot of Plants vs. Zombies and Peggle on Xbox. I think my wife and I played a ton of Peggle when we first started dating, actually, if I recall. I hope that was my wife. Whoopsie. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was, but it's not 100% sure. All right, we probably do want to value trade this a little. But happy to get the arbor up board and pressure here against Death Knight. It's gonna take multiple waves to kill them, probably. I don't expect to get there in 1 or 2 waves. They're gonna have a lot of removal. That said, if they do just rely on like a blood boil here, though, we might be able to just kill them in one fell swoop with Savage Roar. I guess 2 things are dying to blood boil, but that would leave me what, 6, 5, and 4, which would be Corpse Explosion. Different story. That's gonna be nuts. So now we kind of have to reload. I'd love to see an egg. Show me the egg. Foul egg. Horton's Insight would be good too. Swarm, actually a decent hit. Quite a few reloads here. Solar is not a good hit. Boy, that's pretty sad. All right. I think I just want a 5/5. We don't really care about the armor much in this matchup, I don't think. Wither is underrated. Love it. Yeah, I'm excited to see if it works well. We did hit a nutty Wither in a previous run, I know, which was nice. Yeah, I think it was my wife and I that played. I'm gonna have to ask her later if she knows what Peggle is without any sort of additional context. I'm not gonna tell on myself, right? But I'll ask her if she's aware of Peggle. Do you know what Peggling is? Maybe not. Maybe don't ask you that. Yeah, this needs to die, unfortunately. This turn just keeps getting worse, and these turns are pretty terrible here, though. We're way behind. Tempo Boneflinger, honestly, yeah, it's fine. Just need to start eating some of these things. I think there's a chance we can grind them out. I guess maybe I wouldn't be able to beat a like a Mograine or a Patchwork type play here. Would be hard to beat, but they're only running enough removal. Like, we might just be able to outvalue and grind them down. They may run out of answers, right? Hey, Mike Blinko, thanks for the 12 months. How's it going? So guys, we're gonna play Duels tonight, by the way. Then we're gonna talk about the esports stuff. Then we're gonna play Marvel Snap. I want to get a lot of stuff done tonight, just to give everybody a heads up on the plan. The plan, man. Love that they're trading in here. That's great. Just this thing's eating 2 minions. That's awesome. Under King looks totally fine here, right? That's great. Banshee, do we play it? I'm gonna keep the Banshee in hand to play against Patchwork, I think. Might need to play against Patchwork here. Eat that instead of Astalor. Sourfang is a way to outvalue us, by the way. I was kind of hoping to grind them out, but that may be hard with Sourfang. Although, if they take too much damage, that does sometimes give us those little windows to perhaps kill them more easily. Foul egg, huh? Alright, we're still really small here, though. Next turn, we'll probably have to Astalor to clear the board. Again, I'm gonna hold that in hand, I think. We have to assume they have Patchwork. I'll protect a 50-50 here. Did I hear what happened with Blizzard in China? I did, yeah. Super weird story. To catch everybody up on the full context, so Blizzard is no longer operating in their games are no longer operating in China. Their deal with NetEase lapsed, and you have to have like a Chinese publisher to publish games in China. So Chinese players no longer have access to Hearthstone or other Blizzard games, which in and of itself is nothing too interesting or remarkable. Like it's a hugely significant deal. I don't mean to downplay it, but the story got weirder. Let's put it that way. It's a big deal, but the story got weirder because today, like, a bunch of footage came out, or maybe yesterday, I don't know, but a bunch of footage came out of like the NetEase employees like demolishing the statue there of like Blizzard stuff. They had, like, a Gorehowl statue. I saw them just like beating it to death, and they sold like some drink that had some sort of anti-Blizzard, I don't know, connotation or some reference or something. I don't know the full details, but they got really like petty and weird about their relationship with Blizzard, like a strangely antagonistic and crazy response to this event. I don't know, like something went down that made them very mad, I guess is a way to put it. Boy, okay. I just really don't know what to think about all this right now. Do I Solar Eclipse a Wither? I only have 2 undead, so I'm only stealing 4 even if I do that. So it's not really worth it, like on Sourfang, for instance. I think I just finish off the 2-1, to be honest. Actually, you know what I should do? I should hit this first, right? I should have put this in the middle, of course. Too late now. I'm gonna hit this first, and then I'm gonna Wither the 2-1 so that it hits the right guy. I wanted to hit the guy that I'm keeping alive here. I don't know if that makes any sense. If that makes, I wanted to hit the right target because I want to destroy the other target. So see, they're like actually in fatigue here now. We have this Mograine clock, but can we get a board to connect and kill them with this like fatigue consideration in play? Blood Boil's annoying. We can just attack into the 7/7 maybe. Is that worth a Savage Roar? I don't know. I need Unending Swarm while this guy's alive, right? Oh, I guess we're attacking into him. Yeah, that's gonna be more sensible. We can hero power Mograine if we want. It just feels kind of bad. Oh, he's going to 7. I forgot. Oh my god, dude. Unending Swarm is so nuts. Holy moly. That's so perfect here. Okay. That's so gross. I guess most of them weren't actually undead, but yeah, let's trade into this Mograine, right? Or whichever way, doesn't matter here. Something's dying and something's getting traded into, but you know what I mean. Let's kill these guys. This thing's gonna heal them anyway, so just make sure it dies.
My deck is gone.
All right, so like, is this final board actually enough to stick here? Because they've used a lot of the removal, we think, like Corpse Explosion. I guess they have a Soul Stealer probably that'll wipe this. So they're just gonna trade through to get the Soul Stealer down. That makes sense. Now I need Warden's Insight. I'm dying though, so I gotta hurry. Yeah, Nadox is not the play, man. Yeah, we're just gonna die. We're taking 7 and 3 is 10. We're just not gonna get there in time. This is a bad draw. Actually, literally the worst draw. All of these would have been better to build a board, right? This is the only one that's not good. I have a tiny gnat on my screen, but for a second I thought it was like something in the game, but I think it was just a tiny little gnat. Is this better as 2 bodies or 1 big body? Is this better as 2 bodies? Because it's 1 less damage. Really hard to know. I technically prefer more bodies, but I also need to be able to kill a 5/5. Really, really impossible to know. I think we're just dead though. Mograine's impossible to beat here. You know, I gotta say, their hero power, by the way, has really done a lot of work for them this game. Oh, that's lethal if they want it to be. Oh. They don't, I guess. Oh, maybe not. Could they get me low enough to make the Muncher hit me always? Not sure. Either way, we die. Actually kind of happy to see them win. I love when like control decks like that win, but a little sad for us. Hey, Demetrius Gunn, dude, thanks for the 19 months. That's really nice. I didn't mean to tease all that Blizzard stuff and then not read your guys' messages. I got distracted by the game. Blizzard paid them in runestones. Maybe Blizzard did something that China didn't like, so NetEase had to distance himself. Yeah, I don't know. The cultural and political complexities of China are certainly something I don't understand, like many. I'd hate to speculate too much, but yeah, as we all know, there's crazy things that go down that we don't always understand very well and seem pretty crazy to us. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's good for Hearthstone or not, by the way, that that China is not being served as an audience. I think you could argue both ways probably. Party Portal, honestly, yeah, just like the early minion. We've got not a lot of spells for it, but just the early body is a good fit for us. Arbor Up, Fair Arborist, and Darkmoon Statue are honestly all pretty okay. Nerubian Flyer we like. Ooh, we actually don't hate this. Living Roots and Soul of the Forest is pretty good. Innervate's not bad either. Kind of tempted by that. Living Roots goes wide. Innervate cheats. Soul of Forest is good for us too. Yeah, actually, this isn't bad. All right. It's a tough loss there, but fair. I don't mind losing games like that at all. They just had enough removal. Good on them. Ooh, foul egg early, so nice. That's how we win.
Witness the ways my forest.
Do we keep a Living Roots? Living Roots Party Portal is a pretty interesting pair. Go wide on board again. I think I might keep it, man. I like having all these really cheap flexible cards early. Party Portal Arbor Up would be really nuts if we could hit it. Imagine a Party Portal Innervate Arbor Up with coin. That'd be wild, man. Ooh. Double Mage Secret. I swear to God, every time I get double Paladin. Maybe it'll be Explosive Runes. That would actually be worse though, wouldn't it? We don't want Explosive Runes, actually. Oh. Oh, that's even worse. Dang it, dude. God dang it. Where's Explosive Runes? I'll take it back. Please make it Explosive Runes. I was just kidding. Alright. Let's that's kind of scary, isn't it? Ugh. Ooh, Peasant. It's a good result. Alright. Hopefully they don't have a lot of great spells for that. What insane Mage Secrets to get, by the way, though. They got a treasure and denied my insane opener. They must be feeling like gods, I tell ya. Peasant dead. Dude dead, but everybody got really fat in the meantime. Man, are they gonna kill that? No. Love the buffs. Oh! 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 Oh, what a draw. What? I actually teased this. What an insane draw. Oh my God. That's so gross. Oh, dude, if they have a clear for this, I'm gonna be so sad because that is such a bonkers hit. No! Oh, that's not really quite good enough. I mean, that deals with a few things for sure, but we're gonna get some nice buffs on the back end of that. So what is that? 15 and 8? Oh no, that's dying to Rush. Okay. Oh, Rush was a great hit there, wasn't it? Man, really strong hit. So 13 and 4, not a lethal yet. Nadox could maybe make it a lethal. I think we go wide again. This is my only undead currently, though, if I want to use that with Nadox for a buff next turn. No, I don't know. What do you guys think? They're both 5 total stat points. The 1 health ones are a lot worse against his dude. I think I'm gonna hit this instead. I missed damage though. I missed 2 damage. Oh God, I literally forgot about this already. I could have done the middle one and attacked for 2 extra. I literally talked about this earlier and then I forgot to do it. Oh, it doesn't matter. All of them are dying anyway. Stupid Barov. This Nadox has felt really hard to use, by the way. Oh, and Soul of the Forest just absolutely poorly timed. Okay. This card just never seems to connect. I don't know. Pickaxe is nice and slow. That's good news. Okay. Buckler? They're not going to clear this, right? You can't. That's too early, yeah. Okay.
This can't be good.
So it'd be good if we had mana for it. So down to 12. Clearly any one of these boards connecting will be enough, but so far that doesn't look like it's going to happen with this hero power active in particular. Shield block, sure. Shield slam, sure. This deck feels like it needs card draw right now. I don't know if you guys are sensing that as well. Attack and hit twice. Okay. Pretty good. I don't hit some kind of wide board card. We are just out of steam. Oh, only... Oh, this has to kill one. Oh, yeah. Of course. Okay, this is a good turn. Actually, great turn. Cool. Really, really good turn. All right. So we've got a lot of dudes now and some stickiness as well, which is good. Oh my god. Another secret. That's best target to hit. Furious Howl. Oh, but that's not good enough, surely, right? Unless that's like exactly explosive runes or something. Or not, yeah, not, you know what I mean. Flame Ward. Okay. Ice Block? No. Okay. Nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. Mummy Magic's perfect. Yeah, that's great. We've got a ton of these. Awesome. It's exactly what we want. Solar Eclipse is an Arbor Up, or Lunar Eclipse is an Arbor Ups. I guess double Arbor Up I like a little better than double Solar. Yeah. This is nice. This is nice. Nadox works better with big undead. Yeah, I've seen a few of those lists in standard, like using it as a new Bracon, like finisher of sorts almost, like big stuff. Why not hero power before Soul of the Forest? Let's see. I had 3 minions on board. I Soul of the Forest at first and then hero powered. It left me with 5 minions out. If I'd done it the other way, if I'd hero powered first and then Soul of the Forest, I would have had 4 and 4 instead of 5 and 2. So we would have ended up with 1 more minion overall, but 1 less minion immediately. I don't know. I kind of still like having the 1 immediately. Did I say all that correctly? Probably not, but I don't know. That would be fine too, probably, but I wanted to have some immediate pressure for sure. Okay. +2 attack now. Would that have mattered, I guess? Would have been the same, right? But I don't know. We want the 1-drop though. Do we keep Warden's Insight? It's a really good card. Probably. It's a very strong board builder. Foul Leg on 1 is absolutely insane. Mummy Magic Foul Leg is... Do we even hero power it on turn 1? I don't think so, because we have too many good ways to use Coin and Innervate, but dang if it's not a consideration. It's just so nuts. This is really gross. Don't get BR gas. No. Oh, they always get it on turn 2. I don't understand the consistent. I want somebody to go back through my VODs and see how many times they top deck BR gas on turn 2. I can almost guarantee you it's like 70% when it should be like, you know. Oh, dang, they're hitting these. Wow. Wow. I mean, are we even that upset? I don't think so, right? Because I'm going to hero power their minion anyway now. I think. Maybe I'm just lunar eclipsing their minion. Could get a Warden's Insight down, but it's just not very good yet. I mean, I do want to deal with their minion, right? It's a really gross minion. Let's just do this. I don't think we need to get fancy with the discount. I think just playing it as a Frostbolt or whatever is fine. You know, Dark Bomb, whatever it is. Deal 3 for 2. We don't need discounts and stuff to cheese it. I think it's fine. Hero power your 3/3 and then trade the 5/3 in. Yeah, I don't hate that, I guess. I don't like the idea of the bigger damage guy living, but if I had wide board support in hand in particular, that play would be pretty spicy. We currently don't, but we could. All right. Yeah, a 1/1 that's gonna die is no threat to us at all, so let's just get this going. It's moving. This is so obscene how good that is. Man. Cannibalism in here too just makes everything so much scarier. Must have some kind of AoE here, right? Trading these down. I mean, I don't think it's unsmart. Stupid. Me unsmart. Me, the unsmart streamer man. I don't think it's stupid to clear these eggs, by the way. Like, I think it's fine to clear these. You know, it's taking them a lot of work. It's a commitment. Like, it kind of sucks, but I think it makes sense. What's the Homer Simpson Mino what me am smart SMRT or something? What is that wonderful Homer Simpson quote that I can't think of right now? I know it's wonderful and funny. That's how I sound right now, though. Homer Simpson smart. Yeah, I am so smart SMRT. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Nailed it. Yeah, man, this is it's a good reload. I'm just, you know, fighting all these Death Knights is proving challenging. Just have a lot of board clears. A lot of board clears. It's hard to deal with. Blood Boil incoming. Warrior did last game too, but we got there because it wasn't also healing, you know? But the healing plus the board clears on Death Knight is particularly challenging. They may not have it going down to 4 mana here. That could be a good sign. Supposed to get a 4-drop, by the way. That is a Bloodfin Raptor. Dude, early Simpsons is still some of my absolute all-time favorite television. I remember buying all the DVD box sets and just gorging myself on all of them and like the commentaries and just, I think I spent like a whole summer, literally all I did is watch The Simpsons. And it was the best summer of my life. Empiric Blood, okay, that is a lot of health, yeah. Sour Fang, okay. Man, we are just not hitting the follow-ups that we need, man. Like, what's the play here, dude? I just don't have, like, I have all these Arbor Ups, but they're just not available right now. I don't know, man. Getting a lot of bonus damage, I guess. Yeah, but just, I gotta wait to use this as a reload, I think, right? Seems to me like this means they got a Blood Boil. Just read an interview today with Conan about the monorail episode. Yeah, he was talking about that on one of his podcasts something recently. I watched a video very recently about Conan talking about monorail. I find Conan very amusing, so of course I enjoyed it. Okay. I thought they were gonna have a board clear, but not having a board clear here is very good news. Maybe clear my biggest guy though and make my math a little weird, right? Oh, surely that will be sufficient. I can't imagine this not being an adequate amount of damage. It seems rather sufficient. All right, cool. Finally hit our follow we were looking for the whole time. Very nice. Good win, good win. Really thought they were going to stabilize again, to be honest. Seems like they maybe just didn't hit their AoE on time. Right. Ooh. Blade is a lot of repetitive damage, which I do like. The buff on it is not insignificant because there are some eggs and stuff in particular that that benefit from getting buffed. Now we do have a lot of spells, so I think there's some diminishing returns there. Army Knife can be its own sort of finisher, some kind of, you know, big swing, big lethal type card. I don't really have a lot of great targets for it, you know, 5 cost biggish things. There's like Nadox, there's like Bloodsworn's 5 cost version. Clearly any kind of thing that has gotten buffed on board from cannibalism is decent. I do have to say I like the lethality of this. Blade is a lot of like chip damage, but it's not a finisher. I feel like I need more finishers. Another question though we could ask is, do we ever take the Black Soulstone just because we need a value card? We've had some of those empty hands late, get something that turns into a lot of value. I wonder. Hey, Gamer Rabbits, dude, thanks for the kind words. Sorry we're not playing Snap now, but we're going to a little later if you want to hang around. Blade is also value. That's a good point. Blade also lets me spend. That may be the best argument, actually, is that Blade is... Oh, man, glad that happened during a not game for once. Blade is kind of a middle ground. It's both damage and value, whereas Soulstone's maybe a little bit too much value, and No Wish Army Knife doesn't really have any value. It's all about that one-time punch. So I actually think you've talked me into Blade. I like that it's both, because it can help me spend mana, keep plays rolling, and more. All right, so I've never seen this card in my life. That is a custom card that made its way into Hearthstone, I'm pretty sure. This is not bad, actually. Earthen Scale's not great, but Living Roots and Intervention are good. But I think this is the pick, right? 2 really good undead synergy cards. Street Sweeper, honestly, it's fine. Seems totally okay to me to have some reactivity. It's risky sometimes for us to play, but it's okay. If we need to swing a board, we can. All right. I like this deck. It's going to be potentially a good deck, I think. Might use a little more card draw, though. Oh, man, guys, I had a really good roast beef sandwich tonight, by the way. You guys always ask me about my sandwiches, so I thought I'd share with you. Really good roast beef sandwich. All right, we're going to keep this hand, actually, because I've been light on finding my follow-ups. So I've got a 1-drop anyway. Let's keep a follow-up. Let's keep the 1-drop. Even if it's not perfect, it's good enough. But yeah, just roast beef. Just a really good, simple roast beef. Add Swiss cheese on a nice bread and some au jus to dip in. And it was basically like a French dip. Super simple, super good. I love the idea of dips like that, but I almost never enjoy them as much as I think I'm going to. But this one I did. All right, let's just go here, actually. I'm gonna make this very big, very fast. We're gonna go hard against Priest. Does mess my curve a little because I can't coin into an Arbor up, but I'm trusting I need to go under them really, really quickly. The more turns I give them, the scarier this gets. Oh my. Oh boy. Worst case, I can always hero power that, but we don't want to have to, right? Oh god. Oh lord. Okay. They just do so much so fast. Right? It's crazy. Stop playing cards. Please. Please. Don't. No. What is that? Okay. That's not the end of the world. It's not great, but it's not. There's a lot more minions there to trade in and fuel and stuff. So we do have enough to kill that without hero powering, but I think in that case we might as well hero power. It's gonna end up being more efficient anyway, right? So I didn't actually do that math, but I trust that to be true. This is worth +2 on the outside if I trade it in now, right? So I lose 1 to net 2. If I go here, I lose 2 to net 1. But I also distribute the stats better. Okay. Next turn is just Astlor Hero Power, probably. This unfortunately got buffed instead of the outside one. It'd actually be a little bit better if this one got buffed so I could hero power it in the middle more easily, but it's just random, whatever. We could put Astlor in the middle though, so it's fine. And then we have Arbor up. You're 24. I'm at 30. 30 is certainly fine for now. No problem. Tell me more about this bread. It was just bread. It wasn't anything. I'm wondering if I could find a picture of the sandwich. But it was good. It was good bread. It was good, soft interior, but crusty enough to hold up the moisture of the jus, the au jus. So it was a good balance for sure. Nicely balanced bread. Here, see if I can find a picture. What? That's my card, bro. That's rude, sir. Arbor Up is not lethal, but I think it's still our best play, right? Just redevelop again. Just hit again for a lot. We're getting really close to killing them. I can't find a picture, guys. Sorry. No picture. Oh, that's a good play. I'm left with 2 pretty buff dudes, though. Do they have an easy way to clean this up? I mean, trade the 2/2 in is fine, but that leaves me with 6. Still not a lethal hit, though. Man, we are just coming up a little shy on all of these. Well, we just keep redeveloping, right? That's the plan. If I play this here and hit, we go for 5 and 3's 8. It's just not a lethal yet. Sweeper kills these. That doesn't help us. Maybe we save the party portal since this is kind of a full board anyway. Party portal getting a single 4-drop doesn't really seem worth more than just saving it for later, as far as I'm concerned. All right. Hey, Regis, love the YouTube vids. Don't normally get to catch your streams. Oh, thanks, Jet Groovy. It's a fun name to say. Welcome, welcome. Regis defending his master's thesis. I didn't do the math. I trust it to be right. You're more correct than you could ever know. That's exactly right. You have nailed it, sir. It is horrifying how accurate this is. Another great clear here. These guys suck. Need a good spell for party portal, man. That is not the spell for party portal, unfortunately. Okay. Sure. I mean, Astlor alone here is just 8, right? So it may be enough if this board is empty as we hope. We may not need much more. Sunwell, just 3 mana. I mean, it's surely not good enough, right? There's no way. Orb, I mean, would help eventually, but not yet, you assume. Because even if they do discount now, that 2 mana floor is going to be hard to work around. Maelstrom Portal seems very slow and expensive. It's funny they got the Tunnel Trog. That's appropriate. All right, good win again, dude. I only hit the Trog one time. Okay. I didn't actually check that lethal. Surely it was, right? 13, 14? What was their health at? Did I trust that a little too much? I don't know. Blood Moon's perfect fit for us, though. Good wideboard support card. That's awesome. Soul Force is good. Innervate's good. We like the flyer here, but hate plating and beetlemancy. These are a little too expensive. I think that's fine. Cenarius is actually decent for us. He's got the wideboard buff, right? He can give +2/+2, so it's not bad. They were at 9 and okay, 9 and 3 is 12. Yeah, we had it. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Sunwell is surprisingly bad. Yeah, it can be tough to work without discounts and stuff. Without a way to work with it, for sure. Sleepy, guys. Had a very busy day today. Surprisingly busy day today. Really sad reading all the esports, like, basically, I have to retire from esports type messages. Always very sad. We'll talk more about that later, though. Have I tried Shauna yet? We played her a little bit earlier on stream this week, but didn't really get into it too hard. I'm hoping to do more tonight. I didn't really find a deck that sang to me. Honestly, even keeping an eye out on other people's like Twitter accounts and stuff, still haven't really seen a great Shauna deck. All right, this is two really good 1-drops. We like 1s better than 2s here because we can play a 1 and then hero power on 2, and then on 3 we can play a 1 and hero power again, which is really nice. Why do they have to retire from esports? Well, they don't have to, but the Blizzard esports announcement today basically cut down esports to like a tiny fraction of what it was prize pool wise and opportunity wise and stuff. It was already, I think, really hard to sustain yourself as a professional Hearthstone player already in the old system, and it just got way harder. The expected value has dropped to basically 0. I mean, I've always maintained that content creation was a much more viable, sustainable model when it came to that, but this takes it to the absolute next level. It's way more sustainable now to be a content creator than a professional player. The gulf has widened a little. I think, you know, a lot of people have not taken the steps necessary to like really diversify their God, we're gonna have too many minions out here, but I'm okay with this. Let's do it this way. Really diversify their platforms and their kind of income streams, and you know, if you got one thing that's working and it's going, you don't want to rock the boat, so they just go hard into, you know, professional esports person, and it's worked. But that doesn't leave you with a lot of leeway or backup plan or runway to solve problems as that goes away. You're kind of stuck doing this one thing. They do it really well, and they're rewarded for it too, because it takes just an obscene amount of dedication to be that dedicated to be a professional player. You have to practice so much and study so much and learn so much. It's almost like mandatory feeling. But what kind of damage do we have if we start trading in here? We already have what, 6, 8, 13, 2 in hand. Bone Flinger can do 2 extra, but only 2 because the board gets too full. This is a trade-in for 2. Is there any way to get a lethal here, guys? I'm really trying to piece this all together without breaking my brain. Oh, that had Soul of the Forest. I can't even play a Bone Flinger. Just kidding. just kidding. Ignore that. So that's gonna be 3 and 3 is 6 and 7 is 13, 15. No, I think I needed an undead to die. So I don't know if there was actually gonna be a way to make that happen. I don't think we have a lethal in that case. I'm gonna trade in a little here. But only a little. I just missed some damage again, didn't I? Could have done that first and got 1 extra. Whatever, I don't really care. I'm not concentrating enough to care. Let's see. Feels like Blizzard is cutting as many corners as possible, trying to get as much money as possible for the Microsoft merger. I don't know. That's I think just, I don't know if it's the Microsoft urgency. I think it's just in general, honestly. I think you just could have stopped that sentence a little shorter and it would have been accurate. Yeah, it does feel like they're cashing in a little more and more these days, I have to say. Feels like a bit of a cash in, you know. Okay, surely this has to be a lethal, right? It just must be. It just has to be. It's mandatory. It's not remotely close to not being lethal. Okay. So that gives you a lot of rooms to not optimize, man. I think I've missed like a damage every turn for the last like 5 turns. And the deck just doesn't care. The deck's like, no, we got you, man. Don't worry. You're all good. You're gonna have 17 extra damage anyway, man. Don't worry about him. The Zyrella Battleground skin is kind of sick. I'm glad you like it, man. Congrats. Yeah, I will say a lot of this has been landing in a pretty bad time for Blizzard because a lot of people are playing Marvel Snap a ton. A lot of people have moved to Snap and play Snap more than Hearthstone now. And that is definitely going to compound whatever negatives that are already happening in the Blizzard world. I think a lot has started to fall on them at once. Esports decline. China being lost as a region, whatever other. I think Death Knight landed a little flat personally. I don't know what the data says, but it felt like it among the community at least. Long time on the balance patch, really hitting people pretty stale in the meta. Like everything's too stale and boring for a lot of people. So it seems like a lot is landing pretty rapidly. I think we got to hit a better 1-drop here. I think we really need an egg or a zombie to get this rolling to feel good about this game. Egg it is. And Banshee's fine too. So yeah, Hearthstone in general just seems to be in a real down period right now. Of course, we don't know the real numbers, but that's definitely the sentiment, which can become a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy as well. If everybody thinks it's down, it can be more down. Same thing with esports. Like, we'll talk about esports more. I don't actually think that the esports program being sliced will have that material of an impact on boy, I think we need to kill this to take a trade. I honestly legitimately don't think it'll have that big of an impact on the overall game directly. Like, most people just weren't watching it anyway, so how could it really have that big of a negative impact, right? But the conversation, the loop, the negative feedback loop that exists might. People talking about, oh, the esports is dead, and then, oh, the game's declining. That starts to feed into itself and create a conversation, a discourse that will hurt the game indirectly, even if esports itself being cut does not directly negatively impact the game so much. So I think that's what they have to be mindful of and be careful of. Okay, do we start killing a chill fallen baron? I kind of think we're turning face already. Maybe we do this. We are gonna have a full board though, at least effectively full. This may be wrong because we're gonna have too many things for the egg to actually summon the other egg. I don't know about this. It's a good problem to have, like, hear me out, you know. I'm happy that we have too many things, but it's got some downsides, to say the least. Be nice to hit an innervate into an arbor up here, by the way. Any snap? Yes, we're gonna play snap later. Yeah. After this duels run, we're gonna talk about the esports stuff, and then we're gonna play snap. That is the plan today. Blade is actually pretty good here. Let's me not overcommit this board too much. I think we'll still have plenty of board potentially into an arbor up next turn, but creating some of this over the top pressure as well splits my threat a little bit, so they're like, oh god, I'm dealing with a board, but I'm still getting hit in the face. We'll see how they handle that pivot, but we may not need much for this arbor up to be a good hit. Devil's advocate, I think esports in general is in decline. I agree with that. I don't know why that's devil's advocate. I don't think anything I said would argue with that point. No, I think you're right. I think the esports model. Well, again, we'll talk about this more, but I think esports has tried too hard to be sports, and I think the streamer model of just being a chill casual place to hang out and play the game together has been more successful, or at least more sustainable. You know, I have zero overhead when I'm creating content myself, right? I got nothing. It's just everything comes back to me. I don't have to pay a bunch of administrative people, and I don't have prize pools, and I don't have all these overheads and costs associated with it. So it's super sustainable to just turn on the stream for a few hours, have a bunch of people watch, and it's a profitable business just like that, right? Because there's just nothing going into it. But esports tried to be these giant, huge broadcasts with literal stadiums and countless on-air talent and ridiculous graphics teams and all this crazy admin, and they wanted to be the NFL and stuff. And I feel like the audience is not there for that, and perhaps even I don't know that most of the audience wants that. I think they want personalities and accessibility. I think they want to have a really like one-on-one feeling, and a stream delivers that a lot more, and it tells better stories sometimes than esports, which again I think we can talk about more later. Creepy Curio is fine. We like undead and we like going wide. Boneflinger's okay, but these suck. Probably this. I'm excited about that Yogg, but I don't think it's actually the pick. These are okay. So yeah, in essence, yeah, I agree with you. I think esports is in decline, and I worry it's partly because they tried to take the wrong model and tried to make it too big, too fast, and tried to scale it into something that I don't even really know if the audience wants. So I don't know. We'll talk. That's both Hearthstone and beyond, by the way. I think League has done fairly well with that big crazy model, but that's because they're number one. Everybody else who wants to be a League can't really do it.
Omu versus Vandar. This battlefield will be mine.
Witness the ways of my forest.
How much is the decline of viewership return to normal after people can go outside again? I don't think the sort of COVID pandemic thing lines up too well with the Hearthstone side of it, at least. In other words, Hearthstone peaked and was already declining before that was ever a consideration. Hearthstone probably peaked in like 2017, 2018 from an esports standpoint, and then started declining. It has more rapidly declined, but I don't think you'll find that many of those variables associate with pandemic era. There was a spike for like me during the pandemic that has since receded, but I don't think it goes as closely with esports. All right, we want 1-drops. I'll say that I've said this 100 times and I'll say it again. I think Hearthstone esports would be better if you couldn't see your opponent's hand. The way you see both hands right now in Hearthstone esports, I think it would make for a better viewing experience and a more authentic experience if you didn't know what the opponent had all the time. Because right now in Hearthstone esports, this hand, by the way, is garbage. All of the tension is removed from the broadcast. You know exactly what's going to happen a vast majority of the time. You're rarely ever surprised or anxious because you say, oh, okay, he's going to play this, and we know it's going to get removed by that, and then this is going to get removed by that, and it's like, it's all solved at all points. There's no like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Oh my God, does he have it? Does he have it? Does he have it? You always know if they have it. I think that steals a lot of the interest. It becomes more about the analytical side of it, because the casters are then explaining the decision-making process and the analytical side of it, which is a unique advantage. That's a cool value proposition. Like, that's something that you don't get on streams. But I don't think it's as engaging or entertaining for the average viewer. I think the average viewer really wants that intrigue and surprise and so on. Boy, we got off to a really slow start this game, and now I'm very worried about being dead very soon. I mean, look at this. This one mothership is basically going to do as much as my entire freaking board. I can't kill it for them, right? It just doesn't make sense. Gives them too many things that can attack right away. So my thought is just show one side of the story, and I think it would be a lot more interesting for the viewer, living vicariously through the player as opposed to being this like all-knowing onlooker or whatever. Wow, Alarmobot might be really good for them. Holy crap, the Stoneborn General's good too. Okay, we're so screwed, right? We're not dealing with this, are we? This hand's really bad for this too, man. Okay, Wither is actually going to steal 4 stats, which is pretty good. But we can't really use it to kill that 8/5, right? There's just no way. It pumps out too many stats again too quickly. I think we just go here. Maybe we. I don't know what I'm hero powering here. I'm trying to figure that out. If anything, maybe we're just gonna Lunar Eclipse, Solar Eclipse Wither. Use that on an 8/8, but I'm. Yeah, it's not worth it, right? What am I hero powering, guys? I just don't know. I need to kill the Alarmo bot, right? Because it's gonna turn into a Stoneborn General always. I guess this is the turn. I don't know. It's not the best turn, but it's a turn. All right, we take it. Okay. Hey, Mr. 8/8 man, what's up? Hey, Mr. 8/1 man, what's up? I do like that as they're trading into my board, it's getting kind of more and more intimidating, right? It's hard for them to actually trade this down efficiently, which is nice. But how many more of these can I deal with, right? Each one of these is pumping out an obscene amount of stats. Grave digging for 4? I guess these are all back to 10, so they have to kind of discount them for a minute, don't they? Sorry, friendly and dead, your minions gain its attack. Okay. It's actually still not really that good. Math here is a little clunky. Not really with Lunar Eclipse though, I guess, huh? All right, we do this again where we go wide, right? That's the plan here. I mean, this is a really annoying board, to be honest. Nadox could actually be a pretty big threat now, too, if that 4/1 sticks around. We could have a lethal push for sure. Never mind. Okay. Still a good board, though, honestly, despite the AoE. It's not bad. We get an Arbor up. We're really happy, I think. That's super slow. Okay, Arbor up off the top. We got 3 of them. Not even that unlikely. That sucks. That's garbage. That we don't want. I mean, we just make them have it again, right? We just keep going face and make them have it. We know their hand is probably a lot of awkward... Oh, why didn't I put that in the middle? Oh my god, I'm the worst at this. I gotta pay attention. So bad at this. I lost the damage again. I literally talked about this in the first game. It's gonna be great. We get a dire wolf alpha every turn, and then I never do it. I just never do it. Esports also suffers from new games taking viewers, and more importantly, appeal. Hottest game will always have more viewers for a while, then people go back to normal for a week. Then the next new one comes out. Yeah, that's true for some games. I think card games have avoided that a little more. Like, card games tend to seemingly have a little more staying power. I mean, I guess maybe that's a conversation more about like only one at a time probably stays very good in card games. 1 or 2, and then the rest kind of come and go for a little while. Seems like Magic and Hearthstone have really dominated the scene. Snap seems to have a pretty good strong start comparatively to most.
Stone Legion.
To most. All right, General is he's big, but just 1 card. That said, that flash heal is super annoying. We need like Unending Swarm now. Something that can go wide. A Rubian Flyer can kind of go wide, yeah. We just need to keep a few bodies on board always. It's a shame that this can actually trade in, because that means he gets more ways to trade in. It would actually be nice if these didn't die, but the 8-1 also trades in. So he's got like a bunch of 8-8s on board next turn. And then I'm just running out of time because I'm going to die to the 8-8s. Oh, these condemns, dude. Wow.
I'm undead.
That's game. I can't beat that and the... No way, dude. We came up a little short here. That's too strong. We don't have anything left that gets through this, right? There's just no... I mean, I guess an Under King would be pretty solid. An Astalor going face, maybe? Oh my god, we actually hit an Astalor. I guess we want to hero power this, don't we? That leaves me plenty of time to Astalor. Just need to make sure I don't die, basically. Oh, actually, Astalor hitting that's probably a little better. We don't even mind if the Astalor dies, right? Because I get 2 extra damage face. If I do it this way. If I hit it with my face. Because the Astalor is just not worth much. In fact, it actually lets them get the Stoneborn General down sooner. Well, I'm going to play a 5-5 anyway, so maybe that doesn't really matter. Is it worth more damage? Because now I can't equip the weapon and Astalor next turn. I mean, we still do this, right? They could have another taunt. We need this to snipe 6 to face, basically, to win this game, probably. All right. That's not bad, actually. Astalor gave us, I think, some extra potential here that just didn't exist without him. You know, a Savage Roar would also be lethal if we hit that and they didn't have a taunt or heal. Right? Savage Roar? It's guaranteed, unlike Astalor. Astalor is not even very likely, right? Oh, Bone Flinger. Oh, how is he not active? No! How much damage do they have? 24 and 4. 28, and I'm at 33. It's only friendly undead. Doesn't work. I'm wondering if I can hero power this and just try to live for a turn, guys. What do we think? Or do we just have to Astalor? What do you guys think? I think this is always happening. The question is, am I Astaloring or am I going for a 2-turn? They have 8. They have 24 damage. I'm at 33. I'm gonna just trust. I think this clears enough. We're not dead anyway, and then it has the chance to win. Just gonna trust Astalor for once in my life. He's not hit face at all. The good news is that removes a lot of damage simultaneously, right? So it does do something even if it doesn't win, which is good news. Now they have to taunt or heal again. Same as last time. Shame it didn't hit him once more, so this Bone Flinger could be a lethal threat. Oh, another taunt reborn. Are you kidding me? Astalor is not undead, dude. This is so frustrating. Astalor, dude, you just needed to hit once more and I could have figured something out. But like this, I can't. I'm dead. Seriously, dude, that's so frustrating. Yeah, we're dead. Dude, Astalor. I mean, this isn't active anyway, so I guess it wouldn't have really mattered, huh? Maybe they won't notice the lethal, right? Who knows? There's always a chance. Sometimes these decks start trading a little too much, right? Maybe they won't notice. I still won't win, but maybe they won't notice. That's our only hope. I don't even know what top deck would get me there in that case. I don't think anything does. Solar Eclipse into Radiance. Oh, well, that definitely locks it out. Okay. I mean, I think we gave ourselves the best chance there. I'm realizing that one damage we missed earlier, would that have mattered maybe? Didn't I miss a damage earlier? I mean, this wasn't active though, so I guess not. He wasn't even active, so the 3 versus 2 didn't really matter. We could have found 3 damage somewhere maybe, yeah. Oh, they really did? Did they really miss lethal? Oh my god, they did, but I can't do anything about it, but good to know. I don't have anything keeping me alive though. Oh no, they didn't. Never mind. That hadn't attacked. Okay. Just BMing. Just a simple bimmer. Bimmer only. I think there's an opportunity with Nadax to buff your minions. I think we had an egg only the turn the Nadax was up and viable. I would have had to maybe hero power an egg and then Nadax the 3/3. But as I recall, I thought there was a board space limitation. I mean, I'd really have to go review that, but that's how I recall it. Anyway, I actually think this is worth taking. Greybow's really, really good. Can solo carry a game with Reborn, so. I think that the turn you're talking about with Nadox, we had the egg only that was good. Yeah, so I played an egg here. Right, we had 8 mana. We top deck the egg. We play the egg. If I hero power the egg, we go to 6. So we could nade, but then I'd have 4 dudes, an egg, and 2 more dudes. We wouldn't have enough board space. See, there's 7. There's nowhere to play the Nadox. Okay, Foul Egg's really good. Do we keep a Soul of the Forest as a follow-up here? I kind of like it, actually. That seems pretty good. I sort of dig it. Righteous Reserves, Avenging Armaments, OG, OP stuff. Now I'm regretting maybe not having an Innervate to do this on turn 1. I'm afraid they're going to get out a little too fast now. May regret that. Wither's really good against Divine Shield minions though, so hopefully that's a powerful swing play for us. In fact, it might be worth it right now. I mean, I don't know. Our hero power is so strong though. No, let's hero power for now. Thinking about putting a zombie in. No, coin and hero power next turn could be very powerful too. I think if this hits anything, it's gonna hit a 2/2. I'm just hoping the next target for a Wither is as reasonable. I can get a zombie and a Wither in, so I can hit a 3/3, for instance. It just needs to be clean math. We'll see. That looked like a buff. I think the challenge we're gonna have though is even if we get through like the first wave of Divine Shields, eventually there's gonna be Divine Shield taunts that are just so hard for me to deal with. I don't know how we're gonna solve that. Right? That's gonna be the hard part. Okay. Is that actually worth hero powering on their end now? Wither's only going to hit for 2 here. It's not significant enough. I think so. We get a 3/3 down. We get a 1/1 down. We keep their board in check. This is fine. Okay. They're overloaded a little, which might be nice. Just play like, oh, Farsight. Wow, that's pretty much a pass turn. Okay. Kind of happy to see that. This is going to be a good hero power turn. Hero power Blood Moon, maybe? That's kind of a neat idea. point out a Blood Moon here. It's going to be a lot of units to hit, so it's a pretty significant buff. And then we have the Soul of the Forest next turn. Almost forgot to attack, guys. Don't. You didn't see that, okay? I'm cool with buffing these up a little. We don't care about the lifesteal right now, but it's just a power of the wild, basically. 3 health against Paladin and Shaman is, I guess against Shaman probably not as significant, but against Paladin in particular, 3 health's a significant breakpoint with consecration style plays and stuff. Zap-O-Matic. Whoa. Anchored Totem just to get it a shield, huh? Okay, those are really big. Can I just kill them? Wither has 3 targets here, so unfortunately these look undead, by the way. I gotta tell you. You know, we could go Boneflinger, then there's 4 targets. We just hit the Zap-O-Matic. The problem is we don't really want the hat rolling off. What do we have? 10, 16 here, so definitely no lethal hits. I really would hate having to kill the Asharan Mooncatcher. Maybe we just let the hat roll off, guys. Is that okay? As long as it's not on this scary dude. I think I'm okay with that. We just buff and go face this way. We say, screw the hat. The hat's okay. We'll figure out the hat later. Let's just try to get some big pushes. It's really scary to leave minions out always against this deck, but you can't trade into everything forever. I'm hoping only 2 to 3 things die here and we just kill them next turn. Little risky to not go for the Soul of the Forest to preserve our board, but I think they're gonna have a fairly limited way to answer stuff. These actually still have bodies behind as well, so we're not totally doomed on clearing things out here. So like this hits and then Hero Powers hits again. Probably hit first, then Hero Power. There you go. As long as a minion doesn't get lifesteal, I think we're happy. A little heal face hopefully is not enough to matter. So what do we have? That's 9 and 6. This feels like lethal, right? He's like, so I just filled my board. I can't Astalor, so I hope I counted right. Oh boy, a little risky, I guess. Trusting that first count. I'm not very good at counting. That's a brave trust, Regis. Brave, sir. Exerciser seems great for us, actually. We need ways to get through taunts sometimes. That might be really important to have that silence late in the run here. Okay, loot order's actually legit really good for us. Probably good enough that I'm even willing to take these garbage cards. I think we really need card draw sometimes, and this is 2 cards. Sticky body, great hero power target. Clearly don't care about a war leader or a freebooter. But none of these are so good that guidance is pretty chill, but I don't need lunar eclipses. I don't care about coroner or enchanter. If I'm gonna pick 1 good card in peasant and 2 bad cards, I'm probably gonna take the loot hoarder. I think I'm gonna take the worm. Hey, 7 wins on this, man. We haven't really been playing this that tight, but 7's good, man. I love it. Good stuff. What am I drinking? Diet Mountain Dew. Do the diet do, as they say. Me and my snap opponent played the exact same cards 5 turns in a row. I hope you Spider-Man'd them. Point, Spider-Man point. I'm getting tired, man. I need to play some Snap still, but I'm getting pooped. We got to talk about esports. Getting pooped. Shock Spitter Ban was the best news today. Yeah, I'm happy to see the best stuff in Duels. Get some tweaks for sure.
I do things my own way. Witness the ways
Ooh.
of my forest.
Gray Bow. I don't think that's a keep against spammy damage priest, sadly. I don't even know if Astalor is. I like Astalor's armor gain, but I think we need to get going really quick against this deck. I think we need an early one drop and we need to swarm them down. Perfect, yeah. I think you need a greedy mulligan here, basically. Push really hard. Greed in the sense of digging for the best thing, not greed in the sense of keeping expensive cards, to explain. I think we need to dig deep. How do I think Snap would do esports? Well, they've talked about like their battle mode or whatever, the 1v1 mode. I don't know though. I don't know if it's going to be the best esports game. I don't know that card games are the right format for esports in general. I know there have been moments where they've succeeded, but I don't know that I think card games in general are like action packed enough or star driven enough. I think there's oh god, Shard is insane. I don't know. We're gonna talk about esports later. I don't know. I got a lot of thoughts I need to get organized on, but I'm a little tired, so not sure that's gonna happen very well. Boy, this hand got really bad really fast as soon as that shard hits. Jeez. That might shut us down really quick. I'm not excited to play a Murloc War Leader on 3, I'll tell you. Need to hit like a lingering zombie here to hero power. That'd probably be our best result.
Come, pray with me.
Rubian egg, pretty good. Yeah, we'll innervate this. This innervate does mean I'm limited on the Arbor Up getting played earlier, which I'm not in love with. But again, I think we don't have all day. I think I have to go fast. And this is obviously a monster threat board. Worst case, maybe we War Leader next turn. Maybe Hero Power again's better. We'll see. Probably don't really want to Hero Power the egg because I need to protect something behind this. Like I want 2 waves of threat. So protect our 1 Death Rattle here. Top deck wise, Soul of the Forest be awesome probably. Maybe a Blade of the Burning Sun be cool. Hopefully, oh, how many of those are they gonna get this game is a real question we have to figure out and ask. Dream? Just playing that? At my best play. It's kind of sad, man. It's gonna be really hard to beat a lot of Ysera Awakens if they get a ton. Bone Flinger, Hero Power, or just Nerubian? It's probably just Nerubian, as much as I absolutely loathe it, but yeah, I think we're sort of doomed, right? We didn't get that initial push we needed. They've just completely overwhelmed our stuff with silences and efficient removal. So what do we do now? I think we lose. Inner Fire. Just creating hand space, maybe? Holy Fire. I think now a Grey Bow might actually be legit good for us. That's the kind of card we need now. We need to grind them down with something like a Grey Bow, I think. These small waves aren't doing it. That shard really, I think, just lost the game for us, honestly. I hold the shard personally responsible for this. Losing our turn 1 like that was brutal. If they kept that, that was super heads up for them. That was awesome. All right, copycat, have fun. I mean, I gotta go face, right? I just can't take terrible trades here. I could arguably kill the copycat for a buff and then like trade in again. Is that really a winning line? I guess in theory it is a little better for like Ysera Awakens plays to get some value back, but these minions die to Ysera Awakens anyway. So I'm really just saving life in that case. Yeah, I'm gonna go face. We have to win that way. There's no way to win by trading, because we're gonna run out of cards before you know, like we lose on value if we don't kill them quick enough. I can't grind them out, minus some absolutely perfect draws, I guess, but generally speaking, I can't grind them out. We have to win on damage outs. They're trading, so that's a good sign. Hilt, wow. Monster. A Yeti cat, or I mean an ogre cat. That's a cool play.
How dreadful.
Oh yeah, that doesn't work that way though. Yeah, you silence it first. I mean, it's still fine for them, but just didn't do what they wanted probably. Okay. Big again, jeez. You keep making this cat so big, man. Chill with the big cat, dude. What do I need to draw? Under King or not even that? What's Greybow, I guess, right? Greybow's good. Banshee's interesting, I suppose. I can deal with a Banshee here. Do I Wither here? I only have 2, but I can trade in then. I'm just thinking that is big enough that it might really legitimately be worth dealing with, you know? Because I also have to stay alive. Again, I don't want to lose too much damage. So I could just hit for 16 here. What's the punish of leaving that alive? There's like lifesteal buffs, there's taunt buffs. Not really a lot of taunt buffs in Priest specifically, but that's the kind of thing. Again, that lives to Ysera Awakens now, so that's another consideration perhaps. There's a little bit less immediate damage because I'm buffing the 2 guys there, but that had the lower health total of the 6 attack guys, so this plays better around Condemn or something, I guess. All right, I don't know, man. That's losing 6 there is a big conversation, I guess. Yeah, that would have survived a light bomb as well. I don't know. I still don't know the right answer. I know that a light bomb is very sad, though. I can tell you that. We really need Greybow, something significant, which I think we all know a lingering zombie is not particularly significant. Boy. I'm gonna save this just because it really won't matter, and its existence is important to make them think about it, right? Like, we need them thinking about it. We need them to wonder. Wow. I mean, I actually don't mind losing lingering zombies in deck, I suppose. If there were any left, those aren't the best top decks at this stage, so maybe that's okay. Loot Hoarder would be really good here, wouldn't it? Loot Hoarder, Greybow, Arbor Ups. Arbor Ups, it's decent, I guess. Gonna go ahead and favor the buff going wider here than a little extra immediate damage. Getting these 2 down first. Hopefully they're out of AoE here. We've exhausted quite a few, so if I can stick a few of these, that would be really nice. We'll see. That makes me nervous. Ysera Awakens off the top, and I wonder how many of those they actually have in hand. Was that one like lucky off the top, off the most recent grab, or was that always an option? I wonder. Unending Swarm, maybe? I'm really getting desperate here. Need to not hit like Soul of the Forest or something too. Be really bad news. Oh, what's really bad news? Gotta shut down their lifesteal. I don't even have any reach in this deck. It's another problem, right? Like, we don't have a Book of the Dead type card that just sends it face, you know? We have some weapons. Void Touched into Nightmares to kill me. Holy moly, man. Void Touched with their hero power is so gross. Cenarius? Those are taunts. That's what we talked about earlier. Oh! Fog Sail, Bag of Coins. Are you serious, dude? Void Touch with Bag of Coins is basically 1 billion damage. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. Void Touch freaking Attendant, dude. I mean, this was a fine run. This is a fine run. We really ran out of gas a lot. We didn't get there. That again, that silence basically just won the game for them, right? You can't beat that silence early, I don't think. Not a bad run, though. Not a bad run. I'm not too unhappy with that. Dr. Harrison, thanks. Yes. I'm in a better mood, but I stand by the statement that not everybody constantly needs to contradict everybody and be mean to each other. I'll stand by that. Yeah. I was feeling really, really discouraged the other day by humanity, just in general. Thanks, awesome bro, man. Yeah, I did. I like picking the fun move. Speaking of fun, let's talk about the end of Hearthstone Esports, which is not fun at all, of course. I'm memeing. All right, guys. So, let me swap this over. We're done with Duels for the night. We got to go Duels run in, but I'm gonna call it on Duels. We're gonna talk about some esports stuff real quick, and then we're going to play some Marvel Snap. Let me swap you guys over to the other side here. A little hard to see otherwise. I need to move myself as well. Okay. I know I'm blocking you guys, but you guys are the least important part of this. So, we're going to spend a little time talking about this esports stuff for a YouTube video. Basically, I got a lot of thoughts here. It's going to be pretty hard for me to organize these in a compelling way unless I have you guys here to kind of bounce off of and answer questions and talk about stuff. So I wanted to do this on stream specifically with you guys there to chime in and share your thoughts and share your takes and so on and so forth. So this post was made earlier today on the Hearthstone website. Climb the ladder with Hearthstone Esports in 2023. Are you ready for the 10th year of competitive Hearthstone? This year is going to look a bit different from the previous few. Let's get into what is coming to Hearthstone Esports. And the big takeaway here is that it got cut by a lot. It is a mere fraction of what it used to be when it comes to events, prize pools, opportunities. Basically, this is a shell of what Hearthstone Esports has always been in the past. I don't have the exact numbers, but we're talking about prize pools being cut from... Well, Masters Tours no longer have prize pools. There's no money if you win a Masters Tour. Only the World Championship is going to have prize pools for standard formats. And then the Lobby Legends tournaments, I think, got cut from 9 to 3. if I'm not mistaken. Chat, if I get these numbers wrong, please feel free to chime in. As many of you know, I'm not very plugged into the world of esports. I'm really more reading people's reactions who are much closer to this than I am. I am sort of a bystander, sort of an onlooker. I watch Hearthstone esports, both Lobby Legends and standard format stuff. Not everything, but pretty reliably. I tend to watch, I'd say 60-70% of what comes out. So there's a lot of details here. Of course, there will be a link down below in the description when you're watching this on YouTube if you want to read all of this yourself and inform your own thoughts. But the moral of the story, the takeaway is Hearthstone esports used to have a lot of stuff, and now it has very little stuff, money-wise, event-wise, and so on. And in particular, I wanted to run through this FAQ they have here because honestly, they really answered some questions pretty directly, and they answered some tough questions head on. They did not hide behind this announcement. They're pretty forthright about it, which I honestly respected. Normally, you don't see this sort of thing in these kinds of articles. Normally, when things are going bad and people are sad about stuff and it's not the expected results, you don't usually get a lot of really open, forthright communication like this. So let's go through some of these in particular. Like, how come the 3 Masters Tour events don't have any prize pools? With players having a direct qualification path to the World Championship by playing ladder, we want to prioritize rewarding the most consistent players over the course of the whole year. So honestly, that ignore everything I just said. That is not a very direct or forthright answer, to be honest. That is definitely some PR speak. But to acknowledge it, they are posing the question. This would be the sort of thing that you don't have to mention. You could just not include this question and kind of gloss over the fact. They're calling out very, very readily here that Master Tours events don't have prize pools. This is the PR speak way of saying, like, we want the World Championship to be the big event, and that'll reward all the consistency throughout the year. In reality, of course, it's not going to pan out that way. Only 8 people, I think it is, are actually going to win any money by this system, which means you're asking people to commit countless hours grinding the top of the ladder, countless hours competing in these tournaments for a sliver of a chance at getting a sliver of a prize pool, because the prize pools are all smaller in total. So it's an incredibly top-heavy prize pool distribution where a tiny few people get a majority of the prizes, and the prizes, frankly, are not as much anyway. I guess the World Championship might be the same, but there's just nothing along the way, which of course makes it an impossible proposition for a professional player, because if you have, a 1 in 20,000 chance of winning any money, clearly that expected value is functionally 0 for most people. So I guess this is the sort of more direct question I respected them answering. Does this mean that Hearthstone is declining/failing? The current scope of Hearthstone esports is separate from the success of Hearthstone. We are thrilled with the upcoming content plans for the game and can't wait for players to get to see what is being worked on in the years to come. So, as is always the case when you get these sorts of announcements where, hey, esports is getting cut in half, not even half, cut in a tenth. I don't even know what the number is, but esports is being, deprioritized. What's a good word to use? Hearthstone esports is being gutted. Maybe gutted's a good word. I think that's actually a pretty fair assessment. Hearthstone esports is being gutted, and anytime you have these sorts of things happen, of course, the discourse immediately becomes dead game. Like, oh man, they're not making enough money to support esports. It's a dead game. So they're saying they're getting out ahead of that kind of discourse with this acknowledgement of this question. And I'm going to be honest, I actually agree with them here. I don't think that Hearthstone in general's performance is really all that correlated with Hearthstone esports' performance. Now, that's not to say Hearthstone isn't declining. I do think Hearthstone is declining, but I don't think it's because of Hearthstone esports, nor is this actually an indicator of that decline. I'm sure there's at least a little correlation, of course, but it's really not, in my mind, all that direct. In other words, Hearthstone esports has been underperforming for years at this stage. Like, it's already been underperforming for a while, and Hearthstone's decline has, I think, more rapidly declined recently. Like, its rate of decline has become steeper, I think, over the last year or so, which doesn't really coincide with the Hearthstone Esports' decline. In other words, it's sort of a lagging decline, if anything, at this stage. So yes, they're both declining, but I don't think esports is significant enough to the player base to suggest that it's the reason for Hearthstone's decline, because nobody really watched anyway. Honestly, if this article didn't come out and we weren't talking about it right now, how many of you would actually know that this like, you wouldn't know about this. You wouldn't be looking this up. If I wasn't telling you this right now, you may never realize any of this happened because you don't care about Hearthstone esports. I venture that a vast majority of the player base does not actually care at all about esports these days. At some point they did in the past. There was a lot more hoopla around esports back in the day, early days, first few years of Hearthstone in particular. A lot of people watched, but nowadays nobody's plugged in. Nobody knows. So I think it would be irresponsible to associate the Hearthstone esports decline as a causal variable in the decline of Hearthstone in general. But, you know, they are going to correlate, I guess, at least a little and decline together. But it's not the reason why. Nor do I actually think it's an indicator. I think when you talk about why Hearthstone esports is losing support, it's a super simple equation. It's all about ROI. What is esports? Why do companies do esports? Because it is a promotional vehicle for the game. It's a promotional tool for the game. It's a way to showcase the game, get people excited about the game, get people invested in the game. Sometimes it can be used as a grassroots way to get people to play the game, like, oh, I'm going to be the next world champion sort of stuff. But it's all marketing, right? Esports only exists as a vehicle for marketing. They want the game to grow based on esports. And when we look at Hearthstone esports in particular, it has not delivered anything close to a real ROI. I don't have the inside numbers, obviously, but I can tell you this with 99.9999% certainty, just because I know how it works. I can see the numbers. Hearthstone esports events on YouTube have been getting something like 2,000, sometimes like 4,000 viewers. I think the World Championship got up to like 6,000 or 8,000 viewers, which is not a lot, to say the least. And in fact, if you just compare that to like a streamer, like there's a lot of streamers who will get 8,000 viewers, right? Disguised Toast will get 8,000 viewers, right? And if you were to pay Disguised Toast for a sponsored stream of Hearthstone, if they were going to do some influencer marketing like I do or anybody else does, you know, we get paid to do streams and stuff. For Disguised Toast streaming to 8,000 to 10,000 viewers, Blizzard would pay him roughly $8,000 to $10,000. $1 per viewer per hour is a relatively common rate. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending on certain variables, of course. But roughly $8,000 to $10,000 an hour they would pay Disguised Toast to play Hearthstone and get that same amount of visibility or marketing value to Disguised Toast's audience for $10,000 an hour, which may sound like a lot, but remember, this is Blizzard, multi-billion-dollar company. That is pennies, right? But how much are they spending on Hearthstone esports per hour? Many times higher than that. Number one, you have prize pools, $500,000 for the World Championship. The World Championship ran for, I think, 3 days, probably 8 to 10 hours a day. And we'll say that same viewership, even though that's a high estimate, right? So let's say 30 hours of broadcasting for 10,000 viewers, right? So you're talking about 10,000 times 30 for the World Championship, $300,000, right? If you paid Disguised Toast straight up to stream for 3 days straight to promote Hearthstone for 3 days, okay? The prize pool for Hearthstone esports already $500,000, so they've already paid way too much. They're already way over budget comparative to paying influencers. It wouldn't all go to Disguised Toast, of course, right? You'd spread it around, but effective rate's the same. But that's not all, right? there's countless administrative people. There are countless employees working at Blizzard full time to make all of these events happen and to organize this. There's legal billable hours. There's development hours billed. There's casters as well. Anytime you do something with Blizzard, guys, even if you shoot like a little video, there's like 6 or 7 people on the call. You've got like video producers and like, you know, there's localization stuff that has to happen. There's graphics people that have to work on all this stuff. I'm telling you, there are millions of dollars in any of these esports events, right? There's just so much going on. One employee working in California with full health benefits, you're talking about $150,000 right there per employee at least, and probably more, frankly, depending on levels, of course, and stuff too. So we're talking about millions of dollars invested per esports event potentially, or at least collectively. I would imagine a $10 million budget or something or higher for esports. And again, totally made up numbers, but the sense of scale is hopefully there. We're hoping to be within an order of magnitude or something for esports, right? But the return on that investment is nowhere close to what if they spent that money on other venues. If you just paid influencers to stream Hearthstone, you would get more total viewer hours, more exposure for a fraction of the cost. Now, on top of that, there's another side of this equation too. The people watching Hearthstone esports are already playing Hearthstone. So you're marketing the game to people who are already endemic. They're already a part of the system. You're not actually reaching any new players, or at least a very, very small fraction of the audience will be new players. So are you actually leading to any sort of incremental growth or incremental value? Probably not. Are people buying extra packs? Are they playing the game extra? Is there more engagement because of esports? Perhaps a little, but you're not growing the game. You're not using your investment there to turn into actual valuable new customers or growth. Whereas if you go sponsor a TFT streamer, or you go sponsor a Legends of Runeterra streamer, or a Marvel Snap streamer, or whatever, you're going to be spending your per dollar investment there to get people who might not be playing Hearthstone, to reach new eyeballs, to reach a new audience and help grow the game. So even if you were to say that the ROI is 1-to-1 with these other methods, it's hitting a different batch of the audience that is less valuable. So every dollar spent goes less far when you're using it in an esports world, perhaps. So there are other upsides to esports, like Blizzard sold the esports broadcast rights to YouTube instead of Twitch. That's why it's been exclusive to YouTube for the last few years, and they made like $120 million. That was mostly for Overwatch League and Call of Duty stuff, though, not really for Hearthstone. Hearthstone kind of just rode that wave and suffered from switching to YouTube. That's a large part of the viewership decline. So, you know, there's other variables in there that create value, etc. You know, just the sort of brand value of having an esports league. They recognize there's value there. So not to say that there's not value in esports, just that those kind of numbers that I just spent 30 seconds illuminating, there's a lot smarter people than me who have a lot better look at the budgets and numbers, doing much better data and going, wait a minute, why are we spending so much money in esports? What are we getting out of this? And somebody's going, well, really, we're not getting much. The ROI here is really bad comparative to other initiatives we could spend this same budget on, and therefore esports gets less budget. They go, well, we can't spend so much on this. We'll spend a little to, you know, maintain that brand value, to make sure people don't think the game is dying, etc. But ultimately, the budget is going to get cut. To me, it is a hard truth. It sucks. I wish esports was worth it, but I'm sure that's the sort of equations that are being measured and balanced out, and esports is just not making the cut. Now, of course, the way to fix that is to get a bigger audience, to make it worth more, to make it, you know, an actual marketing value. I do think there were some opportunities lost in the world of Hearthstone esports for that. I do think, I talked about this a little bit earlier on stream, but to reiterate, I think Hearthstone esports is a little too buttoned up for a lot of viewers. I think it's really professional and well executed, and they do a great job of it. Like, all the casters are magnificent at being professional and you know, explaining everything and being super analytical and stuff. They're really good at that. But I do think the audience craves more friendliness and more casual vibes for Hearthstone. I don't think people want like super in-depth analysis. I mean, obviously some do, but I think a bigger portion want just to hang out and watch some fun Hearthstone games. And that's why streamers tend to do well in Hearthstone and have historically done well in Hearthstone, because people crave that kind of one-on-one casual feel. Even at the high level, I think the presentation could accommodate that a little bit better. But also, I don't think people want to watch 10-hour broadcasts of endless Hearthstone games. It's an all-day commitment to watch a Hearthstone esports event, and it's all weekend commitment. You've got to watch everything. It's impossible to just tune in and catch a little and get the kind of highlights, get the main story, get the beats, get the characters. You know, an NFL game being like 2.5 hours is already a big commitment for people. And then you expect people to watch 30 hours of Hearthstone? I just don't think that model fits an audience. And if you don't watch it all, you feel like you're missing it, and it's hard to, like, if you just want to watch the World Championship game, when do you tune in? Okay, it's been on for 8 hours all day. I don't know when to watch the championship. What time does the championship start? I have no idea. So there are these kind of like structural problems, I feel like, too, that make it hard for people to watch esports. So, boy, that was a long rant, wasn't it? So what's the solution? I don't know. I don't know that there is one. I think our window for Hearthstone esports might be gone. I think that's sad. I wish that the ecosystem could support it. I love the casters. I love a lot of pro players. I wish it worked, but I don't know that it's ever going to work again. It's past its peak. It's past its interest. And I don't know that they can get that back in. I don't, once the toothpaste is out of the bottle, how do you get it back in? I'm afraid it's just too far gone. Now, I don't think that is an indicator that the game is declining. I do think Hearthstone is declining, but that's not the reason I think Hearthstone is declining. Number one, just age happens. I think Marvel Snap has pulled a large portion of the player base away from Hearthstone. I think people are frustrated by the design direction of Hearthstone, at least the vocal audiences. So I don't know. We don't really know if Hearthstone's declining or not. We don't have data. If it's not declining, I would say it's probably declining among the really dedicated player base and the YouTube and Twitch watchers of the world, you guys, but maybe not declining among casual mobile audiences. So maybe the game is staying relatively flat and level, but the audience has shifted. More casual, more quick gamers as opposed to like PC gamers and, hardcore Hearthstone players, I guess. I don't know how to frame that, but I bet it's had a sort of a focus shift if the numbers are indeed level, but I don't even think the numbers are level, but we don't know. It's just speculation. Most of the data we see suggests the game is getting less and less popular over time. Still a top game by most metrics, still high on Twitch. I mean, like Ixar had cited that if Battlegrounds were on Steam, it would be like a top 10 game. There's still a lot of meat on the bone basically for Hearthstone. I think the game will be fine for 5-10 years probably, but definitely in decline as far as the data I can see. The data we have anyway. Do I think Hearthstone can benefit from not having to cater to esports? I don't really think it's catered to esports too much. I do think that in general, games hire professional players for design positions, and I do think that is probably the connection that you're feeling, or I think pro players design a little differently than casual game designer types. Some people design games as game designers, and then there's other people who are really good at Hearthstone and then end up in design positions, both initial and final design. And I'm sure they have slightly different emphases and stuff. I'm not going to, I don't think they design completely differently or anything, and they're both good at doing their own things, but I'm sure certain things happen here and there in favors, they tend to lean in one direction, I guess I'll say. Like, oh, I really like combos or something, for instance, and I'm going to make a little bit combo cards a little bit better, that sort of thing. Maybe not even consciously, right? But subconsciously perhaps. But I don't think they're like designing for esports much at all. If anything, I feel like esports sometimes gets screwed from design standpoints and balance patch timing, those sorts of things. So, has esports really worked as an investment for any game though? That's a great conversation point, actually. I wanted to talk about that. So this is not just actually a Hearthstone phenomenon right now. There are a ton of esports companies, teams, and other games who are all suffering in the world of esports right now. A lot of money and investment and success has kind of been sucked out of the esports world recently, it feels like. It seems like esports as an industry is regressing to the mean a little bit. I think it ballooned and ballooned and ballooned for a long time. A lot of money came in, a lot of big money came in, sponsors came in, and they're realizing there's really not as much ROI as anybody was expecting. And the balloon has popped a little bit. The bubble, I don't know why I'm saying balloon when bubble is literally what we talk about these things. The bubble, the esports bubble has popped a little bit across various games. There have been some games who've made esports very lucrative, like League of Legends, I think is a great example. It has made that game very popular. It's watched by 1 million plus people when they have big events. That has been a positive return for League, but it's definitely rarer for one to be a huge hit than otherwise. And I would argue Hearthstone esports was actually a huge success early on. You know, used to it would get hundreds of thousands of viewers. At that stage, the investment made sense. The ROI was there. It was probably worth it. That probably helped grow the game scene a lot. It's just recently, as the numbers decline, it gets worse and worse, right? So yeah, it's not just Hearthstone in this case. A lot of esports stuff has pulled back in general. The Hearthstone timing here probably feels bad. A lot of things have hit Hearthstone negatively. Very recently, they just got pulled out of China, so the Chinese market of Hearthstone's gone for now, for the foreseeable future. Esports just got cut a ton. I think there's been a lot of general unrest around the standard format balance and meta staleness of the last month. So quite a few negative things hitting all at once. This will end the game. It's over. I listen, if the game is going to end, if the game is over, it is not going to be because of esports. I just don't buy that argument. No one was watching anyway. If the 4,000 people watching esports ends the game, if those people are so upset by not having esports to watch that it ends the game, we were doomed anyway. You have to have had people watching to have a significant impact. This is bad. I don't want to minimize how I think this is a really negative update. Number one, for the people involved in it, the casters, the esports employees, the admins, all of the people working. It sucks for them that they're not going to have as many opportunities, as many paychecks. It's really bad news. I wish it weren't happening, but it feels like a real over-exaggeration to say that this would kill Hearthstone. If Hearthstone dies, it's because of things that affect the entire player base, not because of things that a very niche portion of the audience actually engages with. I think it would be a cop-out to say that esports kills Hearthstone when it's such a small, tiny part of the audience's interests. If anything kills Hearthstone, it's going to be, a stagnation of interest over time because of design or just natural attrition, right? There's a lot of things that would ruin Hearthstone over time, but I just don't think it's going to be esports. So What do I think will happen to Mercenaries? I think Mercenaries will be sunset soon. Total speculation, by the way. Don't know anything, but I think if Mercenaries was considered a huge success, it was probably in the Chinese market, and that is now no longer being served by Hearthstone because of the NetEase disconnect or whatever. Hearthstone and Blizzard are no longer operating in China. So I suspect if anything was keeping Mercenaries around and supported, it was probably that. So I think it might go into maintenance mode. Maybe not like soon or anything, but in a year or two, I don't know. Is Mercenaries going to keep getting support? I don't buy it. I don't think it ever reached the levels they probably wanted. But again, total speculation. I have no idea. Could be the most popular game mode for all we know. Doesn't seem like it to us, but we don't really know. Hey Nilaku, thanks for the 49 months. Did I say that already? Man, my brain's not working. They support my ROI argument. Oh yeah, I do feel like they said something. What was that? Yeah. Oh yeah, does this mean HS Esports is being canceled in 2024? We don't have anything to share on the 2024 program at this time. I actually thought this I thought this seemed a little hopeless, to be honest. I would expect again, you know, all of this is so speculative and almost pointless to say. But if I were writing this article and I expected there to be a 2024 program, I would have said something that hinted at that a little more. Like, we don't have anything to share on the 2024 program at this time, but we look forward to future Hearthstone esports, or you know what I mean? Like some kind of future looking statement that suggests a little more hopefulness. Whereas this to me just does not suggest any hopefulness. Yeah, it is really hard not to read into these. I agree. To me, this just doesn't suggest any hope for the future. It doesn't say that, but there's nothing forward looking about it. Yeah, it might just be wariness in general. Yeah. And by the way, we should talk about that. Like, some people were giving the esports team a little hate on this. Like, you know, how could you let this happen and stuff? I promise you, if anyone on earth didn't want this to happen, it was the Hearthstone esports team. Their literal livelihoods are connected to the success of this program. I promise you, all of the Hearthstone developers, all of the esports team people, they all wanted this to be a gigantic thing and get more money. They want the program to be supported as much as possible. None of them want this. This comes from a budgeting decision that's far beyond them, right? This is above their pay grade when it comes to these high level budgeting decisions. They're saying, hey, you get this much money this year. Yeah, that's a fifth of what it used to be, but make it work. And they're trying their best to make it work, right? So don't blame the visible people. Yeah, this is Bobby and his team saying, hey, we're wasting too much money on esports. Yeah, here's a good conversation. Is this because of low viewership for being exclusive to YouTube the last 3 years? Our goal is to balance the cost of running esports productions while taking into account the size of the competitive community. So yeah, this really does just address that ROI statement. Basically, hey, it's really expensive to do this, and we're not really getting that much audience out of it, right? There's just not enough reward for all of this investment. So yeah, this goes on the other side of that. Now that Hearthstone Esports can be on Twitch, why not increase funding to bring players back? We're excited for Master Sword to be back on Twitch after 3 years and are eager to see what our audience there is like. The new program is sized for sustainability as Hearthstone Esports turns 10. So I am curious what happens with the Twitch audience. Lobby Legends has not been super popular on Twitch, despite Battlegrounds being popular on Twitch. That makes me nervous. I don't think Twitch is going to fix all the problems. It will probably be a higher audience view count than YouTube. I will say that, but I don't think it's going to go back to like 50K or something. I think we might go from like 4,000 on YouTube to like 8 on Twitch, which is probably still not really big enough to make all this investment worth it. So, okay. Boy, I talked about a lot of what I wanted to talk about there. Um, there was one other conversation topic I thought I had. What was it? What was I gonna rant about? How many viewers at Esports Hours would get better? It used to get, like, World Championships would get hundreds of thousands, and regular events would get like 50 to 100, I think, for like Masters tours. Which, you know, that's the 10 times more or something than we get now. So the budget being 10 times smaller, if the budget is 1/10 the size, that would make sense. If it used to get 10 times the return, right? So, I don't know. I guess maybe what I was going to talk about was expected value of being a content creator versus a professional player. Like, it was already so hard to be a professional player in Hearthstone because there just isn't a lot of expected value in esports events, but this basically makes it zero. It's going to be almost literally 8 people will be able to be professional Hearthstone players based on the prize pools alone, and streaming to complement and supplement that. But I guess just a general, if any pro players out there are watching and you need help trying to transition into a content creator world instead of a professional Hearthstone player world, I guess hit me up. I'll try to help. I don't know what I can do. It's also pretty competitive and cutthroat in the content creator world, to be honest. There's just not a lot of views to go around, so I don't know that that's going to be a successful transition for most people, but we could try. It's yeah, Ashi, thanks, man. Have a good one. It's you know, I've always kind of bemused as a content creator. You know, I like a professional player will study a meta and will learn everything there is to know about a deck and mulligan win rates, and you know, they'll practice and they'll study and they'll just learn about the cards and they'll become incredibly good at Hearthstone. And I've never once tried to match that. I've always done that for YouTube. I've always studied YouTube. I've always studied how to make better videos and how to make better thumbnails and how to interpret my stats and how to, you know, figure out the algorithm. Like me and It's Been, the Hearthstone streamer you guys, or Battleground streamer you guys may know, It's Been. We spent like literally 2 hours of the day on Twitter talking about some incredibly obscure stats and how they interacted with our YouTube views, and it was incredibly rewarding. So we don't practice Hearthstone, we practice content, you know? We spend our time practicing the content side of it, and that's going to be a hard transition for people if they want to try to master that. Much like it would be impossible for me to try to get into a professional Hearthstone and master Hearthstone. It's tough. It requires a similar amount of dedication, but in a completely different direction and focus, which isn't easy for everybody to do. It's not impossible. It can be done if they use that same dedication and discipline that they use in Hearthstone for content. I'm sure they could do great. It's just requires a different focus. Yeah, it is true that I do agree that the promotion of esports has fallen a little short of most people's expectations. Like, most people don't know that these events are even going on when they're happening. They don't see notifications around, hey, the World Championship is happening, and hey, there are Twitter accounts and there are Twitter posts and stuff. But here's the problem, right? Any space that they use to advertise an esports event is space that could be used to advertise something else So it's almost like you're advertising an advertisement, and there's opportunity costs there. What if we just advertise selling packs instead of advertising esports? Isn't that a more direct way to achieve the same goal, right? Do you advertise your advertisement, or should the advertisement itself be organically supporting you? It shouldn't need all of this extra support, because that's eating even more resources and more expenses. So if the return's not there, it's even more expensive to support the esports program. It starts to cannibalize on itself as opposed to serve its ultimate purpose. So I don't know. I don't have the answers, man. Sad either way. It's really sad. I I'm trying to give everybody a realistic perspective, but I don't want to lose sight of the weight of it. It sucks. There's a lot of people who are having a really bad day today because they're worried about like their careers and the future of this. So it's tough. On that note, I'm not actually worried about my career. Number one, I try to do a really good job of diversifying. I've already made a big dive into Marvel Snap that's paid off really well. It's been great for the channel and stuff. So I've always had an eye towards diversifying as much as I can, because these sorts of things are a possibility. But on top of that, I actually think Hearthstone's going to be fine. At the end of the day, I don't think this will matter to most players, and certainly not my audience. I don't think I have a huge crossover with esports. I'm sure some of you care, but most of you probably don't care about esports very much. So, I'm sad for everybody else. I'm not actually worried about my prospects, immediate or even long-term, really all that much, any more than I was. I mean, I've always been worried about Hearthstone's long-term success, but I don't really feel like this accelerates that demise. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I don't know. I think bigger concerns for me are around like design and balance and update regularity, right? Those are the things I worry about for Hearthstone more than I worry about esports. So I want those problems to all be solved, right? Anyway, I think that's gonna wrap it up for my esports conversation, guys. I wanted to play some Marvel Snap. That's a good conversation. I just wanted to acknowledge that. We probably should have read some takes from pro players and stuff on Twitter, but I'm tired now. Here's a counterpoint, by the way. Here, literally 9 seconds ago. People thinking content creation streaming Hearthstone won't get hit as well from today's announcement are coping hard, wishing you all the best, but if you're not one of the big ones, it's time to move on. There you go. Always good to have a healthy counterpoint from a respected Hearthstone player. Casey, legendary professional Hearthstone player for complexity. Right there. You guys can't quite see that, but there you go. There's your counterpoint to balance my opinion. I think content creation will be impacted for streamers who have a focus on high level competitive play. I guess I'll move in Casey's direction on that. I think if you're streaming like top legend gameplay and that's why people watch you, yeah, I could see that suffering. My kind of content, though, I don't think will be very impacted by this. But we'll see. Sad either way.